Good evening, friends. Thank you for being here with us. On the special occasion of National Science Day, Karnataka Rajya Vignana Parishad has started a series of webinars. So today we are organizing a special webinar on the Indian pride, Sir C.V. Raman. For this, for this webinar, we have a resource person, Dr. A.N. Santhosh Kannada, a lecturer in biology, Maharaja Government PU College, Mysore. Welcome to you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
So I also welcome all the participants who are present in this webinar. I welcome our staff in charge, Sri Prabhu Mat sir, also for this webinar. Dear friends, it gives me a pleasure to introduce our today's chief guest, Dr. A.M. Santhosh Kannada. Dr. A.M. Santhosh Kannada is a research scholar, PG Department of Botany, Yuvaraja College, University of Mysore, Mysore. Presently, Santhosh Kannada sir is working as a lecturer in biology from Maharaja Government PU College, Mysore. Sir has completed their BSc in 2002 from Botany, Biotechnology and Biochemistry and Microbiology as the major subjects from University of Mysore. Santhosh Kannada sir has completed their MSc in 2004 from University of Mysore in Botany subject. Also completed their MPhil on seed technology from University of Mysore. Sir has also completed their B.Ed in University of Mysore and completed their PhD in botany subject from University of Mysore. Analysis of phytochemical constituents of cypress, coriambus, rhizome, and their biological activities. This was the title for their PhD work that sir has got from University of Mysore. And for MPhil, Xanthomonas axonopodis, it inted and delineated cotton seeds and its effect on planting value. After completion of their PhD work, Sir has started their work as a lecturer and in charge of biotechnology department in Mandavya First Grade College, MC Road, Mandya. After that, they have worked as the external lecturer for BSc Nursing in microbiology, biochemistry, genetics, and pathology in Kaveri College of Nursing, Kaveri Hospital, Multi-Specialty Hospital in Mysore. And after that, sir has worked external lecturer for microbiology and research methodology in SCVD School of Nursing in Mysore. After that, worked for creating awareness on preservation of wildlife and environment to the public in general and students in particular in Sri Chamarajendra Zoological Gardens, Mysore. After that, sir joined as the assistant professor in environmental science in Vishwakavi Kuvempu First Grade College, Sri Kuvempu Vidya Parishad, Mysore. And after that, in 10th January 2011 to till date, sir is working as a lecturer in biology in Department of Free University Education Board, Bangalore. No, sorry. At presently, sir is working in Mysore.
Nice.
Sir has attended the many program, 2 days lecturers, teaching training programs in Mysore Zoo, 3 days faculty development program in the microbiology in Karnataka State Open University, Manasa Gangotri, Mysore, and worked in a revision of 8th standard new science textbook 2011. And sir has written many books. He is author of many books and has also written the paper presentations presented in scientific research paper on effect of acid delighting on bacterial blight incidents of cotton seeds in the technical session for PR Verma MSc Student Award during Global Conference 2 held at Rajasthan College of Agriculture. And sir also wrote the research paper poster represented on effect of Xanthomonas oxonophodis linted and delighted cotton seeds in a national seminar held at the Department of Studies in Applied Botany and Biotechnology, University of Mysore. Reviewed paper presentation on cotton, the story of an Indian plant till independence in the one-day national conference on infrastructure and sustainable development issues and challenges. Sir also attended many conferences, seminars, and workshops, especially a national conference on plant biodiversity and bioprospecting held at the Department of Studies in Botany, University of Mysore. Sir has also attended a national conference on plant diversity and plant health held at the Department of Studies in Botany, University of Mysore. 2 days state level seminar on the recombinant DNA technology held and organized at Department of Botany in St. Philomela College, Mysore. He has attended many more lectures. There are lot many lists are there. So sir has invited as a lecturer and key speaker in many conferences, seminars and workshops. He has Sir has given a lecture on carnivorous plant in a regional museum of natural history, Mysore. Sir has invited as a lecturer on history of science in India. So with this few introduction, I welcome Dr. Santhosh Kannada sir for this wonderful evening, for this webinar. I request him to present their lecture on Sir C.V. Raman.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Sir, please select a window. Okay. Now it's okay, sir.
Is it visible?
Yes, sir, visible. Okay.
Okay. Oh. Okay. His slide, sir, is clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay. Thank you, sir. Thank you for your wonderful introduction. Okay. Today, and I thank for Karnataka Rajya Vignana Parishad also for giving the opportunity to speak. Today we are sharing some thoughts on Indian science and C.V. Raman in particular in detail. As we know, our country name is Bharata. Ba means Bhargava. Ra means Ratha. Ta means Tana. That means Bhargavaninda Nadashal Tana Bharata. Okay. That means this our country is led by the sun. Our country means here it is refers to the earth. And therefore, the earth is led by the sun. That's what it's mean. This is the most scientific name in the entire world. No other country name is such a scientific as this. And even today, the science also speak the same. The earth is led by the sun. And the Rig Veda says the lights have 7 different colors. And the pure white light of the sun as violet, indigo, blue, green, yellow, orange, which we today called as the Vibgaya. This was been named in this Rig Veda. And there are some thoughts and some even beliefs are the blind beliefs. Okay, in some days, especially in Amavasya, one should not go to the agricultural fields. When this was the thought in our old tradition, when this thought as a blind belief. But today we can understand the science has given the answer for this, that the earthworms which lives in the agricultural fields, they will reproduce during the dark time that is available during the Amavasyas. And therefore, by going there, it will hinders in the reproduction, in turn reduce the fertility of the soil. That was the core thought, which without science we cannot understand the Indian culture. Likewise, the another thought, the ಗೂಬೆಗಳು ಬಂದು ಮನೆ ಮೇಲೆ ಕುತ್ಕೊಂಡ್ರೆ ಮನೆ ಖಾಲಿ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ಹೋಗ್ಬೇಕು ಅನ್ನುವಂಥದ್ದು. ಇದು ಯಾಕಪ್ಪ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಗೂಬೆಗೆ ಆಹಾರ ಏನು ಇಲಿ ಯಜ್ಞಗಳು ಮನೆ ಮೇಲೆ ಬಂದು ಕೂತಿದೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಅದ್ರ ಆಹಾರ ಇದೆ ಅಂತ. ಅದ್ರ ಆಹಾರ ಅಂದ್ಮೇಲೆ ಅದನ್ನ ಇಲಿ ಯಜ್ಞಗಳನ್ನ ಮನೆಯಿಂದ ಹೊರಗಡೆ ಹಾಕೋದು ಬಹಳ ಕಷ್ಟ, ನಮ್ಗೆಲ್ಲರೂ ಗೊತ್ತಿರೋ ಹಾಗೆ. ಹಾಗಾಗಿ ಮನೆಯೆಲ್ಲವೂ ಖಾಲಿ ಮಾಡಿದಾಗ ಮಾತ್ರ ಆ ಇಲಿಗಳು ಹೊರಗಡೆ ಬರ್ತವೆ. ಅವಾಗ ಈ ಗೂಬೆಗಳು ಅವುಗಳನ್ನ ಹಿಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ಹೋಗ್ತವೆ. ಆದ್ರಿಂದ ಈ ಗೂಬೆಗಳು ನಮ್ಗೆ ಸಹಾಯಕಾರಿ ಅನ್ನೋದನ್ನ ನಾವು ಹೇಳ್ಬೋದು. And Swami Vivekananda also tells on this our traditions like this. Okay. India stood earliest in the cradle of ethics, arts, science, and literature, and the integrity of those sons and the virtue of those daughters have been sung by the all travelers. The same holds good irrespective of the science. India has given the antiquity of the earliest scientific physicians, and according to the Sir William Hunter, she has even contributed to the modern medicines by the discovery of various chemicals and by teaching you how to reform the mishappened years and knows. Even more, it had done the mathematics, algebra, geometry, astronomy, and many modern sciences mixed up with the mathematics all were invented in India, just as so much has been 10 numerals, very cornerstone of the present day civilization discovered in India, and all are related to reality of the Sanskrit world. This was told by the Swami Vivekananda about Indian science and how the Indian science will speak by the others. And such a science were been destroyed by the Britishers or the Westerners. One example about cotton is here. The British East India Company, when it came, take the Indian goods, that is cotton, from India to, and flooded the European market or England market with this Indian cotton. And hundreds of voices were raised to save the English wool persons, in the wool merchants. And the act in the Parliament of the England was passed by the Queen Anne or the George I, and prohibited the Indian cottons and silks. In 1701, the import of Indian muslin was also prohibited. However, the prohibition made only for the smugglers. And the cotton is the ideal material to next wear to the skin. This was come to be understood by them later. Then British started looting the India and destroying the cotton manufacturers in the India in 1750s to 1914s. And at most the same time, the Indian textiles were losing the grounds more of because of the British East India Company to stop the weaving of the quality muslin. Even the thumbs of the weavers were been chopped, and the raw materials will be taken by the taken to the England. And likewise, the cotton industry was by the 1850s, it was completely destroyed. And same thing was happened to the industry of the iron and ship industry too. It is said that in 20 by 20 home, our person is to prepare the rustless steel about 500 kgs every day. Such a industry was being destroyed, and destruction and loot of the Indian wealth is the base for the industrial revolution of the England and Europe. In such a time, the one person by name Mahendralal Sarkar, in imagining or in contribution there should be contribution of Indians to the science. They opened up an association, Indian Association of Cultivation of Science, in Calcutta in 1876. And Jamshedji Tata, as we know, opened up the Indian Institute of Science with the influence of the Swami Vivekananda. And Lala Hardayal even offered the scholarship for the foreign students to studies. And Subhash Chandra Bose trusted on the in modern India, trusted on the, if you want to get a country really forward, one has to have scientific education. And scientific attitude is very, very important. And one person in modern times, which we all know, the man of scientific attitude, a scientific temper, is Sir C.V. Raman. And C.V. Raman, today we are knowing some is it is very difficult to concentrate on in entire life, but we shall understand some aspects of him and the curiosity of him today. C.V. Raman was born near a small village in Tiruchinappalli in 7th November 1888. And among the 9 children, he was the second child, and his parents were Chandrasekhar Iyer and Parvati Amman. And his brother, elder brother, was Subramaniam Iyer, who was born in 1885. And his father was appointed as a teacher in the AVN College of Visakhapatnam. Okay, and family moved when the C.V. Raman was a 3-year-old. And this is the home where the C.V. Raman has born, and the place where he has born. And this is the AVN College where his father was working as he taught the physics, mathematics, and physical geography. And he was excellent. He has an excellent collection of Indian philosophy, mathematics, and physics also. And he was an athletic man, took active interest in the sports. And he was trained as a trained at the bodybuilding, and would swim across the river Kaveri every day. Raman, when he was a child, was physically weak, not so strong built person. But he was very intelligent and preferred to read the book always. And Raman fascinated by the science book, even if they were mostly just a textbook and used by the seniors that his father had acquired in pursuit of his own. And Raman went through the elementary and the secondary grades in Visakhapatnam, and he would complete his schoolwork quickly in order to read something about new. And Raman matriculated at the age of 12 by the 1900 and joined Avian College, where his father taught physics, mathematics, and geography. Raman went through all the textbook before start, like Radhakrishnan algebra, Smith's and Bayer's geometry, Stevens trigonometry, and the textbook out prescribed for the literature, even the Greek classicals too. And Roman for the more of new books. Read seems to be never ending for him, and college looked to be empty as he read almost all the books of the college. And he spent just 2 years studying in the father's college. And Raman completed intermediate course in December 1902 and left to Madras in 1903 for his degree. And his elder brother, has already moved to the Madras in the previous years. And this is the Presidency College of Madras, which he joined for the degree. He joined for the BA course in Presidency College, and he was very, very youngest and unimpressive in appearance. One day, when for the first class, when he go to the class, Professor Heliot was explaining, and he thought some small boy has accidentally come to the class. And later he thought he was the youngest class student, which he passed the examination in first rank. And this is the picture of C.V. Raman during this time. And Raman was very curious to show and explain the science which I learned in the college, and show the experiment to his brothers and sisters. And Raman made the soap bubbles and showed the color of the rainbows in it. And therefore, blowing soap bubbles became the favorite game for his siblings. And he used to explain why the bubbles are round and how did the bubbles started out long and thin and even become round. Raman explained that surface tension gives the layer a kind of elasticity, and soap causes the surface tension to increase, so the bubble lasts longer. That the bubbles always end up spherical because for given volume, this sphere has the smallest possible surface area. And Raman showed them how make a stick appear break under water, a simple trick of refraction of the light. And Raman was, as usual, curious in reading. Some three books, like the Lights on Asia and Elements of Lucid and Essences of Tone, were his favorite books, which has been impressed to him very, very greatly. And he also very, very keen in observing the nature. And the old saying says that if you want to become intelligent, observe and try to observe and understand the nature. That was the thought by his grandmother. And Raman talked about in length to his fathers and his family about excitement of the book available in the university library. And these are the books which is which cause influence on him. And teachers suggest, as he's a very, very bright student, brilliant person, teachers suggest him to, you cannot achieve in this country, therefore you go for England for ICS. Was ICS, during those time, ICS examination was very prestigious to the Indian students. But the medical officer, he told him that if you go to England, his body is not able to avoid such a harsh conditions of the England, therefore you cannot go for the England. And later in his lifetime, he thanked for this physician who disqualified him from this for the medical reasons, as he don't like to go to the foreign for his studies. And during these times, I joined MA in physics. He was given freedom in the college. He was given freedom to study on its own, and he attended only one lecture during the whole 2 years. As they come to know, he's very bright student, and they allowed to work anytime in the use the laboratory of the college and attend the classes whatever he want. And he became a original thinker and developed during this MSc time. He MA period, he worked on lab on lights and waves. At the age of 18, first research paper entitled Asymmetrical Diffraction Bands Due to the Rectangular Aperture was published in Philosophical Magazine, followed by the second in the same magazine. After the two papers published, the Lord Rayleigh, great scientist of the England, write a letter by addressing the Raman as a Professor Raman, knowing that the not knowing that the boy was a 18-year teenager. He was first student in the Presidency College to publish the research paper during the degree times, and he passed the MA examination in 1907 and stood first for the university. Like the brothers were discussing during this time what they were going to do in next, and Raman said, of course next we will become a professor. If you become professor, you would read also, and you would do his experiments in laboratory also. But brother replied that Jagdish Chandra Bose was a famous scientist and teacher, but he was not given full support by the British, and what made him to work for low salary. Therefore, if you become teacher, you cannot get a handful of money. But and Raman said there is no need of money for him. But you would say our father has made too much loan, therefore it is necessary to fulfill his loan. If you want to fulfill the loan, we have both has to work. Therefore, let's take the Indian financial service. Okay, and his brother was already married, and there for the married person they will go more alliance also, and like well they will discuss and decide to take the financial service exam. And one day they went to his friend's home by name Shivan. During his visit, this friend was not present, and they heard a music by playing piano, violin, and there was also singing of Tyagaraja Kirtane, like Rama Ninage Samananyaro. By this song and the music was as Raman listened, he fall in love with this first listen, and he tell his brother that he would marry him without seeing that girl. And then the lot of procedure will go on, as there is inside the Brahmin there is a separate, there are two separate sects. At last they got married, and she was a Loka Sundari, called by Lokam. Then Raman got first rank in this financial service examination also, and his brother too selected, and both were appointed as the assistant accountant general in Calcutta. Raman joined for his post as assistant general in the mid of 1907, and while returning Raman to the Scotland church, he saw a Scotland church and listened to music. And the second day, he took all his family members to that church, enthusiastically listened for this music and talked about the different sounds of the organs and compared with the Indian musical instruments. But family members were not interested, and they are sitting this because of Raman. And as is it clear? As the mind,
Yes, sir. It's clear.
okay, as his mind was already working on the studies of harmonics and acoustics, but the Rama, a Brahmin cook, brought all the way from the Madras, he was not impressed with it, and he got upset. And he thought Rahman family might be converted and maintaining the Brahmin faiths is secretly. And cook packed up in a small steel trunk and left to the next train. Raman fascinations with musical instrument had already charged him up. In his tram, while returning from his work from the tram ride, Raman saw a big board called as Indian Association for the Cultivation of Science. As soon he saw it, he jumped up from the tram and walked up back to this association. Raman went into the building. There he saw the lab assistant Ashutosh Dubey and a lab assistant and secretary of the Indian Association for the Cultivation of Science, who worked with him for next to 25 years. Here, Raman saw a well-equipped lab just waiting for him. Ashu Babu, a lab assistant who called Ashutosh Dubey, is called Ashu Babu. Okay. However, how busy was it before some years? And Raman said, it won't be dissoluted from now. I am here. He would return into his own land of science. And Amrit Lal Sarkar was the in charge of this association, was sitting on his father's desk. And we saw a young man would come knocking the door down in their enthusiasm to enter the work. Mahendralal Sarkar was the founder of this association. He inaugurated Indian Association for Cultivation of Science in 19 July 1876. He was also a medical student, a homeopathy, a person, and he started the Journal of Medicine in 1868, and he was both practitioners, and he associate with other scientists of those time like Jagdish Chandra Bose, Ramachandra Dutt, and others to make them to give lectures in this association, which attracted 200 to 300 listeners every week. And Mahendralal Sarkar died in February 1904. And Amritlal Sarkar, his son, became the custodian of this ghost kingdom of the IACS. And one day, the young man wearing the turban in the South Indian style, swinging his arms, walked in. Raman introduced himself as one of the looking for the place where he would pursue his scientific inquiries in his evening and weekends. He worked in the government office all the day, but he was scientist in need of home of research, he said. He cited his papers in Physiology magazine. Then Amritlal Sarkar became very, very happy and embraced and hugged him up. And telling that I'm waiting for you, people like you. And Raman, when came, created turned the atmosphere of the association completely and created the workshop necessary for the instruments and tools would be made or repaired. And the library was been stuck with the fine acquisition standards and recent text. And this was the association photograph, Indian Association for the Cultivation of Science. This is the Mahendralal Sarkar, who is the founder, and the son, the Amritlal Sarkar, the Ashutosh Dubey, Ashu Babu, a lab assistant. On the Raman influence and guidance, this lab assistant also converted into a researcher, and he too published the two papers with the influence of Raman. And Raman routine work in the lab will become like this. At 5 a.m. he got into the IACS and he worked there till 9:45 a.m. and run for the breakfast and leave for the office and come back to the association at 6 p.m. and work till late night. All the way he was working. This was his routine work, and these were the members of this association. And in one side, he was being worked as a financial officer all the day, and another side as a researcher in IACS till late night. Raman went back to note he had made about the Newton's ring, completed the verification and mailed to the Nature journal, and proudly noting his home base, and there he has stated his home base is Science Association Laboratory, Calcutta, and 12 September 1907. As soon as he settled into his research routine in IACS, he got his plan for a bulletin for his publications or the others publications too. The first issue of the Bulletin of the Indian Association for Cultivation of Science came in 1909, and along with others detail carried the reprints of the Raman's paper early two papers. In Calcutta, life promised to be perfect, a well-paid job and well-equipped laboratory. In March 9, Raman got transferred to the Rangoon, now Myanmar, as a currency officer due to the promotion from the assistant accountant generalship. And the Rangoon is a faraway place, a 3-day travel. Okay, travel through this ship in on the sea was being made by his Raman and his wife. During this time, he was very happy to see the sea. And when he entered the Rangoon, is with his friend N.C. Krishna. First, he searched after entering the quad. First, he searched for the lab equipments. They were travel 20 miles far away for the apparatus and bring, and the quarters given a big hall, a big room. He set up the in the lower floor was the office, and first floor was his home. In one of the room, he set up the lab and start working in lab. And lab in there in the work we saw that in morning he can go wherever he wants, but in night he has to be there in this office or home only. That was the rule, and both helped the Raman for his research only. And during those time, he published two papers on oscillations and string and oscillation of strings. He had accepted, it is accepted by the nature, and one appeared in the Journal of Indian Max Club also. It this and working in Rangoon, where it was not you are not getting proper well-equipped lab and equipments for a study. This radicals having to work on the experiment using the most basic apparatus are set up for him. Raman, fascinated by the stars and skies always, wished for the good telescope to map the movements of the stars. He to see the effect of diffraction of light float through Earth's atmosphere. Now excited him by hearing that a comet called as Halley's comet approaching the Earth. And he wanted to study it, but there was no proper setup. It caused the excitement and frustration in the Raman. By the time he receives a letter that his father was suffering from fever, and he put leave for the vacation. He applied for the vacation, but the procedure was very, very cumbersome. He had to hand over all the currencies all to the another person. Then only he can leave the place. By the time in 1910, he reaches the Madras. His father was dead. Raman's grief and frustration excited because he would not go away. Okay. As I told, this the cumbersome procedure is called a red tape procedure, takes the time. His brother Subramania was already having rushed all the way from the Lahore and took the funerals and carried out the 13-day ceremonies. 13 days work. And so his brother nearly fanatic ideas and moralities and ethics, and Raman was his maniac for the science. And after this, he, as usual for his college, the presidency college, Raman with his brother, a younger brother, he goes to the college where his younger brother goes to class, and he goes to the lab and make all the arrangement necessary for us to study the Halley's comet. Now the comment issue was in daily newspaper, excited the moment, and as the May approaches the comet which approached the Earth atmosphere. When the comet was suspected to brush the Earth with its tail, it missed by 322,000 kilometers. Raman got very disappointed with this. But Raman continued to work ferociously in his experiment, not knowing to what backwaters his job would take him at the end of his leave. He has put the leave for 6 months. As the leave is going to finish, he was thinking what will happen next. and he got a letter that he was posted to the Nagpur as the deputy accountant general. At last he come to the satisfaction. At last he stays in his homeland, that is our home country, or near to the land. First thing he would, as he reached the Nagpur, he first thing he was looked after is look for the science colleges and look for the laboratory facilities and select the and take the permission from the science college for this work and selected the house near to the college, and this was his passion. And Raman spent every spare of minute on the science. At the time he engaged in studying the wave motions of vibration strings. During this time he published a couple of papers in Nagpur also. One day he got longed for the posting. He transferred to Calcutta, but no promotion. But he didn't care for the promotion as he is going. He thought that Calcutta is his home of work. After he and during this time in Nagpur, they got the plague also. During the quarantine measures was been put it for his home, and he spent some days or months in the tent also. He got that new experience also. Now he shift himself through the ship to the Calcutta. After reaching Calcutta, he searched and fixed the home. He promptly joined. Then there he joined the Astronomical Society of India and gave several popular lectures in it, which were published in the Journal of the Society. Two of long talks, the diffraction of light and its relation with the performance of the telescope and astronomical optics, were been published there. He studied the Saturn and gave two lectures on his observation. All were published later. He published a long paper on the spectroscopic notes in the Journal of Astronomical Society of India that made his name familiar to the Gilbert Walker, okay, who was the Director General of the observatories in India. And this work so impressed the Walker that Raman had his support, even nominated for the Fellow of Royal Society of London 10 years later. In 1912, Raman set up 7-inch telescope with the help of the meteorological department and studied the Jupiter and wrote in the annual reports in 1913. Made a series of 100 careful drawings of surfaces of the planet during the month of July and November, and posited thinking the problem of the scattering of light by the planetary bodies is not altogether an easy one, and there may be room for further investigation. In an essay, he wrote for the annuals of the American Academy of Political and Social Science in 1940. He recalls this world work and saying that astronomy is the greatest of these science. However, only telescope that was adequate for him studies for more studies in astronomy and stargazing. Raman went on to visit United States in 1924, impressed with the huge 16-inch and 100-inch reflectors. Raman speaks on astronomy. One of the ancient India's work or the branch or for its and ancient Indian writings like Aryabhata, Varamira, Brahmagupta, Bhaskaracharya have come down to us, so that astronomy was active study in India at the time when the lamps of learning light in ancient Greece had burnt out and Europe was passing through the dark ages. This was the mentioned in that United States seminars by him about the Indian tradition. In this period of 1907 to 14, Raman worked with the assistance of only Ashu Babu, whose high school education, as I told, he helped him, and later he was write a research paper and used to send to the journal. Raman, during the 1940s, his brother Skanda got due to the health problem, he going to die. And Raman got very much upset with this. Our life is short, and he had to work. His passion of working for the science increases, and tempo increases. You have to achieve in something in science like that. Okay, with his students. By the time 1940, attracted a lot of students to the ISES, and with his students, he started working and publishing in the prestigious journals such as Nature, Philosophy magazine, Proceedings of the Royal Society, Physics Review. Total of 25 papers come out in year from 1914 to 17. And Raman wrote a monograph of 200 pages on acoustics of musical instruments in the family of violin, which was published in 1918 under somewhat different title. In 1914, Raman approached by the Vice Chancellor of Calcutta University, the Sir Ashutosh Mukherjee, a head of the Department of the Physics at the university. He offered a Polit professorship, which was opened on Taraknath Polit, almost which he has donated 1.5 million rupees to the physics department. And the Mukherjee wants Raman to join for this Polit professorship. However, the rules for joining this professorship, one rule was that he has to go to England or the foreign, and he want to get trained and come. By hearing this, Raman rejected the offer that he won't go for foreign or England for training. If you go, you will go for only for evaluation. And this was his commitment till death. He never supported the foreign education or the brain drain process, which even till today a problem. And Mukherjee convinced the community members, the authority to give exception from this foreign training to the Raman. And they got it in 26 March in 1914. Raman was made as a new offer to join without the foreign trip. And Raman joined it in 1917 only because of financial circumstances. And he was not able to close his father's debate. By the 1970s. He finished off his father's loan also. And now on 17, he peacefully joined for this, leaving the well-paid job. He joins for this teaching profession. Raman got ISES back on life already, and attracted many audience and students. And he has a simple theory or simple logical theory how to concentrate on science. That first thing, the nature hold, he thought is nature holds all the secrets of mystery of creations. One, if you want to identify the mystery of the creation, one has to ask the right question to the nature. Will reveal, then only nature will reveal the secrets. Okay, when secret was been revealed, observe the nature and you will find, well, if you want to talk, ask what question you should ask. For that you have to observe the nature carefully, then only you find the which question you should ask the nature. Then nature will reveal its secrets. Only thing what you have to do is you have to give the proofs and verification through the science and solve the mystery. And this was even holds good in Srinivas Ramanujam also. He all got inspired so many theories with nature only. And he deduced the formula, and all other scientists giving the proof for this. And even now also for Ramanujan's formula, all others are giving the proofs. And the other scientists whose work tied with Raman's interest was Lord Rayleigh's work. Okay, he was the author of Theory of Sound. Rayleigh worked on the human beings, how human beings perceive the sound objects spatially, using differences in the time delay of the sound and the differences in the amplitude between the two ears was taken up by the Raman and applied that work for the musical instruments such as violin, cello, and piano. And Raman devised a mechanical violin player, okay, where the bow was been set up stationary and violin was been made to move with the second hand items or the Gujri items. Okay, he made the instrument from the simplest thing. And Raman set about to study through the experiments and the mathematical relationship that produced the pleasing effects of the sound. And he remembers that his father was telling his brother avoid of the unwanted resonance, bow of unwanted resonance, that E string being the plain metal with no winding had been bowed over gently, so that the bow was always in contact with the string. This was, he remembers this, and he applies this for this study as the research, for the research. His papers on musical instrument sparked an interest even in Germany, and he was made a special offer in 1920s to give the lectures or the monograph on the tones of musical instruments in their series. And between 1911 and 18, Raman published nearly 13 short papers on sounds and vibrations in Journal of England and India. Most of the work being completed officially before he taking up the Polit professorship. And his research on acoustics, like the other instruments such as veena, mridangam, tabla, okay, and others also go on. And he works on acoustic waves. In the paper published in 1980, P.N. Ghosh, he talks about their observation with diffuse reflect light on the sheet of mica. On numerous papers in this period, three on discontinuous wave motion. Raman insists on giving the two credit to his work done by others or even to his students also. In the lifetime of Raman, he published 465 papers as a single and with the co-author. If you want to take account of single author, was 324 single authored papers published by him, and 138 the co-author papers were been published. Totally, together, 465 papers were published directly by him. And by the co-authors with his students of 200 students which work under him, he published nearly 1,500 papers. Altogether, it became the 1,965 papers. If you leave the students' paper of 1,500 and take this only the 465 papers only of him, if you take one research paper to produce, it requires 2 months, then it will almost happen like the 72 years to publish this one. And that means he might have been started at the age of 10. Okay? And that is the what expertise of the Raman, or the specialty of the Raman. He was not only very good researcher, he was a very good teacher also. And he was always excited to teach the students. And on this research in 1921, he was supposed to go for the trip as a representative of the Calcutta University to England. And first he did not agree, later he agreed and take some additional leaves also and make it this trip as a study tour also. And he went England in even as completed the role as a delegation, he was already thinking in the new lines of research. As he went through the places, St. Paul Cathedral Hall in England, there he saw the Whispering Gallery, the phenomenon that was the result of curved shape of the dome. Earlier, it thought that it was due to echo, and he explains that is not due to echo, but it is a repeated cycles of that is due to the cycles of the sound wave due to the curved shape of the dome. That's what he explained, and wrote two short notes in this on that, and duly published in Nature and Proceedings of Royal Society. And during his stay, he got a chance to meet with the famous scientists like Thomson, Rutherford, and Boyce, etc. And while walking with the Rutherford in the campus field, he saw the some students or youngsters playing the football. And Raman, in what in joking manner, he asked Rutherford for the there is the only the England students are just playing. They are only pay rather than working in the lab. That's what he said for the Rutherford. Then Rutherford will reply that we would not only we don't prepare the bookworms. to prepare the which give only dust. We prepare the well-fit persons which can govern the empire. That's this impresses the Raman and speak on this in later part of the life when he visit the Banaras University for a lecture. He recalls it. In September 1921, abroad a ship, he comes back through a ship called as SS Narkunda. The Raman spent most of this time in the deck. Uh, Looking at the sea had always held a special place in his heart. On his way back home, he thought about the at least two problems. One of which was on how the visibility of distinct object would be improved by viewing through the Nicol prism, and made a note about it uh, uh, for the Eden to nature on 18th September. The other was on why the sea is blue. The blueness of the Mediterranean and sea attracted him. Till that time, the accepted theory was of Lord Rayleigh. He explained that the sunlight scatters in the atmosphere of the Earth, and that scatters gives the blue color, and that will be reflected by these what uh, reflected by the oceans. This was the theory given by him. This I explained. Okay. And Raman is not convinced by this work explanation given by the Lord Rayleigh on the ship itself. He always had some instruments, lenses, prisms, and small spectrophotometer to measure the wavelength and other things. He will always have with him together. And he conduct the experiment in the ship. And the foreigners, so one person will say, the man wearing turban in doing the scientific experiments on the ship, and the persons who saw him got wondered. And he conducts experiment and note down as he landed in Bombay. Okay, he write a paper on this on the port itself without going for the next journey. That was his curiosity and his expertise in sending to these publications. Raman carrying the optical equipments, as I told this one. Okay. And summarized all the findings. He studied on scattering of land, and this opened up new arena or new vista, the new field for the Raman, encouraging him to investigate in further. Once back to Calcutta, he spent a weeks collecting the data, conduct the experiment to explain the phenomenon better. And Raman therefore made sure documenting his studies in the form of research paper. Raman insisted students assist him in experiment that followed his theory. Raman would work at top speed to write, at top speed to write upon the paper, and he would even hire a taxi to post this research paper. Okay, and sometimes he sent several research paper through cable. Okay, that was his habit of speedily sending up the research paper for the publication or others to know about his research. He was his process every time to ask the question from his observation about the natural phenomena. So many people have seen the sea color, but some people will try to answer why. This intimate others of his first start on his through the notes to the nature, write the note to the nature and in others. Okay, and this has even inspired, helped him to get this habit has helped him to get the Nobel Prize also. Okay, just some two Russian scientists do the same work on this other medium, but they were led by just 1 week. Raman, where he got succeeded with habit of writing his research paper as soon as possible. Likewise, he followed the short paper of diffraction of light with a more detailed experimental verification. As soon he returned to Calcutta, in 15th October, he sent off another one-page paper to the Nature that scattering power of water is 160 times that of the air, more than that of the air, and stated that the work is in progress, testing the formula for other liquids also. When then after more experiments he said more experiment he sent on 18 pages paper on the same experiment in mid November, which were published in Proceedings of the Royal Society in 1922. After completing that phase of work, he went to Coimbatore for at the time his first son, Raja, was born in November 16, 1921. After completing this first phase of only he will go is to see his son. And Raman was not only not a rich man, he was always, there was a family problems for him. Like Raja, even during his next season, he wanted to go for the London for the study the physics. But later, after studying the physics for 1 year, he come back by incomplete and tell his father he want to study the law. Then Raman didn't agree for it. And there is a quarrel between the father and son, and Raman and the first son Raja done disconnected. By the time he come in contact with the communist, and he will even go to jail, his mother going to help him to take up from the jail, and he died with some village very miserably. Like Gandhi's son, this Raman's was first son was also the same type of bad situation. But Raman never says about it about it to others, and that means the problem is always with him. Okay, and the poverty was always with him. But in spite of that, he was able to achieve such a huge amount of work. Raman likewise argued the multiple sounds of the St. Paul's Cathedral, okay, were due to the traveling of the sound waves all along the circumference of the dome, which produced effect at the end of each cycle and not due to the echo. This was I mentioned it earlier. Okay. In 1924, Raman was elected as a Fellow of Royal Society, and he was nominated by the Walker, as I told earlier, with an astronomical society at the head, the same person. Okay, seconded by the, and he was been supported by the Simpson. And Raman proposed several other scientists too after his nomination for the Royal Fellow of Royal Society, like the Krishnan in 35, elected in 40, Omin Jagir Baba in 40, elected in 41, etc. When being congratulated, made as the FRS Fellow of Royal Society, asked what next. Some a person asked what next, and Raman replied enthusiastically, that is Ashutosh Mukherjee. He replied that, of course, Nobel next. That was his reply. Okay, he was very confident of getting the getting, he will get the Nobel Prize. And he write a letter in 1925 to G.D. Brilla for the donation. Okay, you have to buy the spectrography. Okay, he wrote to, if I have it, I think I can get you Nobel Prize for India. That was his confidence. In 1927, Krishnan student came to tell him by running that the Compton A.H. Compton has been awarded Nobel Prize. Okay, Raman enthusiastically told, if this is, and Compton has worked on X-rays. Okay, if this is sure on X-ray, it must be true on light too. We must pursue it and and we are on the right lines. We must ready. Okay, of being working on the problems that we are working for 6 years, and we will definitely get the Nobel Prize next year. That was his confidence. And the years of 24 to 25, he went on to the trips to the North America and Europe, and given the lectures on the scattering of light scattering being carried out. That work been carried out in Calcutta. In next 2 years, that is 26, 27, he involved himself in many trips within India and speaking the convocations and giving the public addresses. During those time, he comes even to Mysore also and given this lecture. And in Banaras University in 26, as I told earlier, the experience that is had with the Rutherford that is telling here. It is like this. It is not the function of the university to grow the bookworms. The function of the university is to train the men to serve the country, and above all, train those who can become the leader of science, leader of the industry, leader of all other fields of activity. That should be the aim of the university. Okay, that's what mentioned by the Raman worked at ferocious pace, and put Krishnans on the and Venkateswaran to work on observing the light scattering in the liquid. The experiment led to the Raman and Krishnan observing the two distinct bands, one strong representing the incident light and feeble one corresponding to the scattering light. And this was clinching evidence for what later come to known as Raman effect. And this discovery explained the change in wavelength of the light that occurs when light beam is deflected by the molecules like water. Okay, that was his observation, and this was been observed by the Raman and his students, Krishnan and Ramanathan. Okay. Ramanathan was also a very keen student of working on the Compton effect, like the scattering of the gamma rays and other works. And um, such was the magnitude that years in and 28th February came to be celebrated as the National Science Day to mark the importance of the day. The following the day, the result of experiments were allowed announced in the press conference on next day on the 8th March 28. Raman sent a note to the Nature announcing the discovery and published in the April issue. R.D. Wood, the famous American physicist, held the Raman effect. Okay, he called this effect as the Raman effect. One of the most conveniencing proof of, and it is a most conveniencing proof for quantum theory of the light. His paper in the Nature and the editor, the George, okay, Sir George, faith in him strengthened the candidature for the Nobel Prize. And Raman's cable on 16th February 1928 established Raman precedence over the fellow runners. He has sent the paper through cable itself. The two scientists, as I told earlier, the Lederberg and the Meldenstorm. Okay, the Russian scientists got same result working on the quartz on 21st February. Raman worked on the 16th February. Okay, they worked on 21st February and they got published in 6th May and appeared in July issue 13th July. And Raman published in April issue only. And this gave the proof that the first discoverer is Raman, not the Russian scientist. Whereas Raman followed it up and another sort of paper in 8th March. That published in April, and Raman picked up almost the intents and used the several other scientists and sent the several other scientists also. And by the time within 1 year, 150 papers were been published by referring this Raman effect. And all of them have given full credit to Raman, note in Nature. Therefore, Raman was the first discoverer of the light scattering by the water molecule. A 7-year saga of reaching the Nobel Prize illustrates Raman concentration of efforts in his own research, while at the same time directing the number of students in the various fields of acoustic and optics in addition to the light scattering. And Ramanathan writes, okay, the atmospheres of the association when I worked there was like a great informality. There no formal education and extreme coordinated. And work went on from morning 7 till the sunset. And Professor Raman was at the center like a sun. and around which the whole institute was revolving and drawing the energy. This was mentioned by the student Ramanathan. Uh, and Raman often says he had made the Nobel winning discovery with the apparatus just cost of 200 rupees, okay, which is a week salary in that time. And this is the pioneering work. And during this, Raman will were 100% confident that he will get the Nobel Prize. But in the 1929, the Nobel Prize was been awarded to some other scientist, and he will say that it is next year, definitely I will get. During that year, lot of scientists nominate Raman for as a single authored person to get it should be given the Nobel Prize. And in 1929 he got a knighthood. Okay, the like what we tell sir. It is given for him for his science contributions in science by the that is knighthood for him. And in 1930, in July, earlier itself, we booked the ship for this, England, or then to this place of the Nobel Prize to take the Nobel Prize. And that was so confidence. Nobel Prize will always announce in November and given in December. Okay, and that was, and like in November, in announcement made that Sir C.V. Raman has got the Nobel Prize for his contribution in the scattering of light in the by the liquids. Okay. And he got in December 10th. He got the Nobel Prize for the same work. And he was so very good teacher that he explained most complicated phenomenon just a very simple manner. Like a cricket ball, when a bowler balls and batsman and hit the ball, the bowler when it ball, it is of some wavelength. When hit by the bat, it is another wavelength. This what the Raman effect is. And some girl in one village, for this small work they have given Nobel Prize. Okay, he was so a great teacher that explained this in very simple language. You can note here the Albert Einstein say about Raman. C.V. Raman was the first to recognize and demonstrate that the energy of the photons, this light, can undergo partial transformation within matter and still recall vividly deep impression that discovery made on all us. That means it has a great effect that has been made. And with this discovery, it is a path-breaking discovery. Okay, he got it is just 200 rupees of the equipments, and he works on and Raman effect will very widely applied in qualitative and quantitative analysis in identification of both inorganic and organic compounds. Even today, it has been using. And in while receiving the prize, and someone there is a two short incidences which I like to mention. One incident is what one person asked someone asked the why you always wear the turban. He said, Raman said, oh, if I didn't wear this turban, one my head will swell with the praises that you made, so I need the turban to contain the self ego. And this is the one. And another one is that while after receiving the Nobel Prize, there was a party, and someone offered the alcohol, and Raman will reply, okay, you have seen the Raman effect on alcohol, but please don't try to see the effect of alcohol on Raman. And he was so joke and humorous person. Okay, he can make the jokes at even with the small instances. Okay, that was the great nature of the Raman. Then he worked on these are these three students. Okay, Ramanathan, Krishnan, and Bhagavatam. You helped them in this light study. Okay, then he was supposed to leave the Calcutta from the ISES and the university. Okay, because of this internal politics or Bengal nationalism. Okay. And by Meganath Saha and the Sham Prasad Mukherjee worked against him to leave him to the Calcutta. Then he was got offer from this Indian Institute of Science. And first letter by the Britishman was sent to Sir M. Vishweswaraya. Okay, there is no need to search from England for the England scientist. There is a great scientist, Sir C.V. Raman. If he accept, that is the greatest offer for the Indian Institute of Science that was been told by the Borg to the Sir Vishweswaraya. Then only they will approach, Tata will approach the C.V. Raman and make the offer letters. Then we all know will come here. He will come here and join us the directorship. And sir, how many minutes I will get?
Under 3 5 minutes, sir.
5 minutes, sir.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. Then in Indian Institute of Science also, this Shamprasad Mukherjee and Meghnad Saha, they got membership. Okay, this membership giving to this non-science person is has great effect. We have seen in case of Sir C.V. Raman also, and I was seeing that even this what the, and our Karnataka's Vijnana Parishad also is facing the same problem. Therefore, the membership should be given to the valid person. Then only, and there will be no banana politics. Okay, which has happened with Raman, and Raman suffered very too much with that type of politics. But that politics never halted this research progress. That is this dedication for the research. That was the great character of the C.V. Raman. And he worked on these ultrasonic waves during those time, and made another path-breaking discovery like called Raman and North effect. I'll just show that's where it is. Yes, here. Okay. Altogether, is Parthasarthi and this Nagendra Nath, they worked on the diffractions of the ultrasonic waves. Okay. And these ultrasonic waves, they made one important study, the theory that is Raman and Nath theory, which opened up the new possible in optical communication. What is this theory? Is simple. When light is incident on sound waves, combined with the sound waves can reach to the more greater extent. That is what this. That means integration of optics and the communication wave, acoustic. And that combined effect is this Raman and Nath theory. And this is applicable. The world has recognized this work only in 1970s. In the digital world today, the software world, okay, that is optic fiber play a very important role, this one. Okay, therefore the father of optics is also regarded as Raman, and the student Nagendra Nath. Therefore Raman's work is very wide range of work. When he was not able to offer the research work like of nuclear physics and astronomy for rich persons like Homi Jagir Baba, he will give the topic, you do work in the nuclear physics, and Vikram Sarabhai, he assigned to work in space, and inspire them to remain and work for the country. Therefore, if they come back to India and work for the country, the main soul for them is C.V. Raman. That is its greatest contribution. Or otherwise, we do not get Homi Jagir Baba or the Vikram Sarabhai also. And he was wherever the scientist in the entire world, he valued that Max Born. Okay, he thought we should not go to foreign to get education. The brilliant person from there should come here and inspire our student. Likewise, he invites the Born. Okay, and for this again, this Mukherjee and Meghnad Saha joins to the Council of the Indian Institute of Science and torture him like anything, and make them to. And even the Tata Institute, they were fed up. Okay, let this Raman first get away. And once Rutherford mentioned he has got Nobel Prize, why you are mentioning Raman has got Nobel Prize always? That was the big black mark on Tata Institute, and Meghnad Saha and Mukherjee was. And he was made to resign from the directorship, and he asked for letter, allow me to work as a professor without affecting my students. And he, in same Indian Institute of Science, he worked as the professor. In 1948, he will get retired till he's retired. During this life, he defend himself. These are how he defend. In the before his joining, only 13 papers were been published. After his joining, nearly 150 papers, research paper was been published. But the committee members did not hear. Okay, are being filled with prejudice, and they will make him to resign from the directorship. And this is the things about this. And is no, this is very interesting thing. This Raman always said, give 10 lakh rupees, 10 lakh a year for 10 years, and free hand I will solve the problems connected to the India scientific industrial development, and place India in the position to produce everything in the battleship, from battleship to the ball pin. Okay, this was told by the Raman. But even after independence, it was not the person like Raman, even though Nehru is a very close friend of him, but a charge was not given for him. But the Bhatnagar was been given, who made the only Raman made another statement, very interesting statement. That is, but what the Shah Jahan built the Taj Mahal just to bury the one of his favorite lover. Okay, favorite lady. And Bhatnagar built the CSIR, Indian Council of Scientific and Industrial Research, to bury the okay instruments. And he was very upset. For 5,000 rupees instrument, the country was been importing in the, like, to prepare the labs, national laboratories, to giving 50,000. Okay, this upsets the Raman. And anything necessary things should not be imported from the foreign. We have to give our engineers the task of giving the better things. That was mentioned by the. And today, after 70 years, we have now realized the importance of Swadeshi technologies. Even now, that is the only way for the development of the country. When we take the question of the submarine or the aircraft, we are facing it. Okay. In last week, if you can summarize in this one picture, one table, or one this slide. Okay, in 10 years of decade, if you take, Raman work can be regarded as like this. In 1910 to 1919, Raman worked time on the acoustics. And 1920 to 29, he worked on optics and light scattering. In 29 to 39, he worked mainly on the ultrasonic diffractions that lead to the Raman-Nath effect, equivalent to the Raman effect. Okay. And this is another Nobel Prize work too. And application of these Raman scattering to the crystals. In 1940s to 49, he worked on the silks and diamonds and crystals and crystallography. One of the greatest students, the Ramachandran, G.N. Ramachandran, who deduced the three-dimensional structure of the protein. It is called as Ramachandran plot. Okay, it is another Nobel Prize work which was proposed before the double helical model of the DNA. That was again the another tragedy goes with the students. And even some people in Tamil Nadu, they will tell that he is a fool, and his brain is not proper, and throw him out. And Karnataka accept it, Indian students accept him and give the place for his research too. That is another tragic event of his student also. And 1940 to 49, he is focused on diamonds and crystal lattices. In 50, again got to the optics, which was always one of the ongoing topic, and come back force us again in 1960. Raman full circle, returning to the first phases and what he read in childhood. Humboldt's physiology of vision. Now experiment on that. At last, he writes his last paper in 1968, the physiology of eye, how eye will function, and how will recognize the color, and all those things is experiment, and writes write the paper in 1968. And he got, apart from Nobel Prize, several doctorate from many universities, and Franklin Medal for Peace, Bharat Ratna in 54. Okay, and Bharat Ratna, he didn't go. Yeah, you tell that he cannot come back as a student, as the PhD submission. He had to defend it. Okay, and that was this dedication to science. And he will take out that Bharat Ratna medal to get someone tell there is a platinum, and he want platinum for his research work. He will crush it, the medal, and take out that platinum and do it for this. And Mysore Whatever, or they will give another Prajaratna Bhushana. the highest award, which having 64 diamonds. Okay, Rajya Sabha Bhushana, 64 diamonds of 140 carat. You were working, he wants diamond, and you take out the diamond from it, and you'll set for this study. That is the dedication made by the Raman. And in 1948, he made the Raman Research Institute. The greatest message, last message is that it is my great ambition to set up the scientific research center, which is equipped with our ancient cultural country. This center should become more countries knowledgeable, person center, whoever sharing or disclosing the secrets of the universe, and thus by doing so should come powerful in controlling the scientific researches and invention of the world, and each scientific research should help our country great patriot people, then only ultimate aim will be succeeded. That was the message of the Raman Research Institute. This is the diamonds and other things that you say. Therefore, on account of this great invention day, we celebrate this as a National Science Day, where Raman words is, it is a great, ancient, and civilized cultural country, powerful country, that what you want to make our country as self-sufficient in science and technology and in all this sense. And that's what we can, if you learn this, that's the respect that we can give for C.V. Raman. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. It was a nice presentation.
Thank
We learned a lot from this.
you.
So, dear friends, now the session is open for discussion. If you have any doubts, you can ask.
I'll stop sharing the slide. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, sir. Please, sir.
Any questions? Okay. Okay. I think no questions are there.
Yes, any message? Someone raised it. Please, madam.
Sir, when was C.V. Raman born?
1988, 7th November 1988.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
1888, sir.
Yes, 1888. Anything from message, sir?
Okay.
Sir,
Sir,
only
then-
Raman.
Yes, sir. Yes, madam.
Sir, when he dead?
In 1970, 21st November 1970.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Sir, only Raman sir is used for celebrate the National Science Day.
Yes, yes. Only his contribution is celebrated.
Sir, why can't we add our different scientists like our Indian Abdul Kalam and all?
Abdul Kalam is not an ancient scientist. He is a recent scientist, one. And the work made by Raman, it is so pioneering work, not only in India, for the entire world, scientific world. On world scale, it is most pioneering work. Therefore, this path-breaking work is regarded as the most monumental work. And if for today, what we are seeing, the scientific attitude of the Indians, or what we scientific culture, and all are the passion of the Raman. Therefore, Raman is a base for the modern independent India, science of independent India. That's why Raman work is celebrated as the National Science Day.
Sir, even Abdul Kalam also an great.
Of course,
great
definitely,
scientist.
great scientist. Okay, but he was born in independent India, and he has all offers from the support from the governments. Okay, but if you see Raman, there is no very less support from the government. And 19, he was from the beginning of the 19th century. Okay, 20th century, and his work during those time is considered as a great work.
And by the time was the British time, it was. It is
Yeah,
not
yeah.
the independence time.
Yes. Meghna Saha and Mukherjee was a great person, great scientist too. But if that type of torture would have been given here, okay, I think no one even passed the SLC also. But in spite of our great invention has been made.
Thank you,
Sir,
sir.
when C.V. Raman was became a scientist before Abdul Kalam.
Yes, yes. His time scale, his time is different, and Abdul Kalam time is completely different.
Okay, sir.
Sir, even in the ancient time also many scientists were there, no, sir?
Oh, yes, definitely. All over world they are there.
Yes, sir. But in India only they invented bulb and all. Why can't we add them to the National Science Day?
Why can't this is regarded as the benchmark? Okay, by taking this, we will value the all other scientists in name of C.V. Raman. Okay, that value the real scientific workers. That is the major goal of this National Science Day. Whoever may be, by giving the value, by taking this C.V. Raman, we will regard the all other scientists taking the picture. We will value every science or every scientist.
Thank you,
Like
sir.
how you worship the Subhash Chandra Bose. It is a greater, okay, revolution. He is the icon, and all other we include all other icons also, like that one.
Thank you, sir.
And also, he is won the Nobel laureate. No, that is how he is
Yes,
a great scientist.
yes, yes.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Thank you for presenting a wonderful lecture and
Sir.
interacting with the young minds.
Yes, yes, ma'am.
Now I
Yes, ma'am.
request our project assistant, Shri Prabhu Mat sir, to propose a
C.V.
vote of thanks.
was
Yes, yes.
greatest Abdul Kalam.
Yes, ma'am.
Sir, C.V. Raman was the greatest than Abdul Kalam.
You should not compare like this. He lived in different time, and the Abdul Kalam is lived in different time.
Okay, sir.
Hmm.
Okay, sir. Once again, a pleasant good evening to all.
Okay.
I am very much glad to express my hearty vote of thanks to our chief guest, Dr. A.N. Santhosh, sir, lecturer in biology, Maharaja Government PU College, Mysore, for accepting our invitation. Sir, your thoughts of Sir C.V. Raman have inspired us very good, sir. And also, I have extended my hearty thanks to our President Sri Girish B. Kedlewad and
Yes, sir.
Honorary
Thank you.
Secretary Sri C. Krishnegowda, sir, and EC members and our audience, teachers,
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
students, sir, yes, sir, and general public, and our office staff, Sri R.J. Patil, Sri R. Ashok, and Srimati Vanamala, Srimati Devika, Srimati Shashikala, Panchakshari,
Thank
and,
you, sir. Thank
and
you.
others also who have been attended in this event. And also, we will meet again on 5th March 23rd on Sunday, 6 to 7 p.m. with a new subject. Have a nice day, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank
Thank you. Thank you. Can I exit, sir?
Okay, sir. I will close
Okay,
the.
sir.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you.